Hello and welcome back to Wildsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. I'm very happy to have you here. Please like if you like and comment and subscribe and share and do all the things. So today we're talking about embroidery, and we have been working in circles making mandalas. Mandala is, or I think it's more correctly pronounced mandala, is the Sanskrit word for circle. So it just means sewing in circles, which sounds like something my brain would do. Anyway, today we're going to be thinking about sewing in a line, and a line might actually make a very lovely wristlet. So here are two that are sort of looking like watches. This one I took a little further and I actually sewed buttons on, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's canvas under here. So we've got some let me make sure we're in view. Yes. There's some blanket stitches around the edge, and then that red stitch that kind of looks like a fence or something is called a herringbone stitch, and I did it really thin, in a thin line, and kind of stretched the stitch out from right to left and got that looking stitch. And then I did some lazy daisy stitches right in the middle there. This one is a feather stitch, which I love because my name is Robinsunne and it's like a bird. Anyway, so that's one. Here's another one that's really just very simple. It's just a circle. It's just a circle, and it's inside out. This is somebody at some point had a costume that required some lace. It's just polyester lace over silver satin. And I'm just going to work on that and see where that takes me. This one is kind of fun. It's an actual cuff. It goes on like this. I can do that properly. These are great snaps, aren't they? I think I found them at some big box store. They're just ginormous. I like them a lot. And there we go. For a nice cuff, we've got sequins around the edge, and these are little pinpoints of they're called iris beads. They have a sort of shimmer of aurora borealis something color on them. And then I made some patches with hearts to go on them. And then over the years, these circles that I cut and then didn't turn under, I didn't applique them, I just sewed them on with this huge sequin. And over the years, it's kind of curled up around the edges. So, it's had a little experience on this planet. So there's that one. And I thought we might just sort of, on this first Saturday of sewing in a straight line, as if my brain could do that. Sorry. I've been going through a sort of physical way of being on the planet, and it has given me, my friend and I were talking about baby brain. She said yes, she didn't get over her baby brain until her youngest child was 6. It's so much fun being a mom, you just can't believe. It really is, because then your babies grow up and they become these bright and very shiny humans. Oh, whom we love with all of our hearts. So what I'm doing right now is a blanket stitch just around the edge, because what I did was there's a little strip of felt. So you take felt, really, I mean, totally not complicated. And what I did, I'm going to cut this one a little wider. I think that's about how much I cut this silver one. If I'm going to do another one, I'm going to want to do it slightly differently. Just keep checking out the distance from the edge to there. And of course, this distance has a little divot in it. So, oh well. So in the spirit of how I like to do things, I like to let being imperfect be an okay place to be. So there's that little divot. I'm going to cut that off. Hopefully come out sort of in the middle. And my phone doesn't run very long. There are all these great embroideresses who are on YouTube, and they sew for like an hour, and it's really fun to hang out with them, and they just, sort of chitter chat and tell you about their fun lives. Anyway, so this is how I started this one. Is I just had the strip of felt, and you can measure your own wrist, which will be longer or shorter. Give yourself a little overlap, and then you can take the wristlet on or off as you like. You can, although, put snaps in, and then you can snap it on, and that lets you wear it a little more tightly to your wrist, which can be nice if you don't like stuff falling off in the middle of the day, which I don't. So then I took a piece of, I had some silver satin, polyester satin. So I sewed that over the top and then folded it up on the back side and just did a little blind stitch all the way down the middle. But then you can see it's got a really kind of puffy edge here. And I thought if I edged it with a blanket stitch or a sort of wide buttonhole, that would crisp up the outer edge, and that would please my eye a little bit better. Totally depends on what you like. Do the thing you like. So so I did that. Another way that's just fun to think about is to take grosgrain ribbon. This is that stuff that has the little sort of ridges in it. Now, this isn't very thick, although actually, if I'd cut this thinner, you could take 2 pieces of grosgrain ribbon and you could do some sort of a stitch around, like make the felt be inside the ribbon. And then you could stitch this together so you didn't see the white felt inside. You just saw the edge of the blue. And cut this thin enough so that you could do that on this side too. And you would get something that had a little, heft to it. I don't want to cut this one, so I'm not going to do that for you. But I might do it for next week. So you can go to big box stores and you can buy like whole rolls of this and just embroider like mad. And actually, I think I will work on this maybe next week or something. Sort of depends how my timing goes, because it's really fun to embroider ribbons. Yeah, it's like more fun than a barrel of monkeys. So that's just another way to make a surface on switch to embroider many stitches. So get out your embroidery book, or go anywhere on YouTube, type in basic embroidery stitches, or kind of elaborate or high level. I'm not doing vocabulary very well at the minute, but fancy embroidery stitches, and then you can just embroider them down the line and have a lovely time. Let's see, let's go this way. Just making patterns. You can make little flowers. You can make words. Oh, I'll show you something, and I'll do this for you on another day, but just to show you exactly how elaborate you can get. And, given 5 minutes in a studio, untold amounts of objects, I could pull off a lot of things. So, oops, upside down. This is felt, and I figured out this thing years ago. So there's, oh look, that's upside down. This is felt. It's just got nothing on the back, so I'd probably want to, I don't know, maybe put a piece of ribbon across that or something, to cover that up once I am finished embroidering and making a mess on the back. Anyway, I figured out this technique a bunch of years ago, and it's very fun. So the embroidery itself has a little sun metallic charm and bunches of just lace you can buy actually on a spool at a big box store, and a little bit of red ribbon there, and a whole circle full of chain stitch. And this also has blanket stitch around the edge. This is, oh, it's a whip stitch holding on a piece of golden ribbon. Yeah, so you can just like wander around in your studio and find cool stuff and sew it on a piece. Like, really, don't work too hard. Or do work hard if that's really fun for you, which it is. So here is, let me do this. Here is a word cut out of felt, and I figured out how to do this. So I'll do this for you in the next month or so. August and this last part of July is going to be our sew in a straight line sort of month. And I'll do this at some point for you because it's really fun to watch this happen. So have you ever gone to the grocery store and gotten, they call it freezer paper, and it's got a very plasticky surface on one side. It's like when you're wrapping meat or something and you don't want the juices to get all over your freezer. So one side of it is plasticky, and the juices won't come through. And the other side of it is just like paper. It's like office paper. Like, it's just plain paper. So if you take the plasticky side and put it down on the felt, on just any old piece of felt, and maybe cut out a strip and find a word like forever that you like. Wait a sec. So you get one of these Sharpie markers, or any marker that has a chisel point. Can you see how it's kind of wider when you turn the pen this way, and it's narrower when you turn it this way? So, hold on, let me get a piece of paper. She says with great confidence, hold on. It's very far away. All right. So, if I was to write maybe the word fly on the thin point there, let's write it in cursive. So that doesn't give you a lot to cut out, and when you're thinking about cutting out something like this that's got a little weight to the lettering. So turn it to the flat side, and you have to hold it in kind of a funny position in order to make sure that flat tip is on the long side, is on the paper. So on the paper side of the freezer paper, you would take your pen and write your word. And see how if you use that broad tip, you get just letters with a little more heft to them than you do over here. And I like the look of cursive. If you don't and you want to do block lettering, that's totally fine too. It just means you're cutting out each separate letter, which can be fine. So I wrote forever, E-V-E-R, and gave it a flourish. And then you iron on a pretty light, don't use a lot of heat. But what we're actually doing is melting the plastic from the plastic side of the paper onto the felt. So on the back, you've written the word fly on the paper side. So there's your word. And then you iron the plastic part onto the felt like that. Then you can take your little fabric scissors and cut out. It's kind of a long, lengthy, laborious thing to do, but you get this. You get like a whole word. So it's worth the time. Totally worth the time. And then you can take your word and embroider it onto your wristlet. And then, you know what? There isn't a lot of space for me to do an overlap, so what I might do is butt edges and put little hooks there and eyes there, and that could make, my wristlet. So I'll do that for you. But now we're just introducing things, and I bet I'm almost out of time on my camera. I'm so sad. I only get about 20 minutes. So this week, take anything. Take some grosgrain ribbon, which is just nice. There's nothing wrong with any other kind of ribbon. It's just grosgrain has a little heft to it, so it's a little easier to sew on. Or take a piece of felt, and then you can put cloth or ribbon or anything over the top. And and just start sewing. Start making it up as you go along. Don't work too hard. And these are so much fun to make. You will want to make 10 of them. And give them to all of your friends. And your friends will love that. And you will find along the way that you have favorites. You think, oh, I really like a blanket stitch along the edge. Or you might say, no, I would rather have a running stitch and have it look like Japanese sashiko stitching. And you can do it in blue because blue skies are your favorite, or you can do it in red because red fire is what you need in your life at the moment, or you can use any color and all different kinds of cloth. There doesn't seem to be, nobody owns how much fun this is, whether it's polyester stuff or, fine wool and beautiful lace, or you can use anything you want. So I want you to have fun for the next month doing stitching in a straight line. It just seems my life gets awfully circuitous, and sewing in circles makes sense. So I wish you love. I've been thinking about that today. I wish for you love. I hope you remember. I'm actually keeping lists of all the people, places, and things that I love, which beaches and which people and which activities and which objects I really love, and just think on these things. There's a Bible verse about that. It was in my high school. Yes, I went to one of those high schools. It was an Episcopalian high school, so it wasn't even Catholic, and we still had that stuff on the walls. Go figure. So, yeah, I wish you love. I wish you sparkly sunshine, and may you be well. And I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.